Have you ever had a dream so real you weren't sure if you were still inside it, even after you opened your eyes? Not just a nightmare, I mean the kind that reaches inside you, pulls out pieces you thought were buried, and throws them in your face. I had that dream, but what still scares me isn't what happened inside it. It's what happened after I woke up. It was late March when Bonnie's parents flew out to visit her aunt in Portland. Normally, they were strict, like, no boys upstairs, strict. But with the house empty for the weekend, Bonnie asked if I wanted to spend the night. I didn't hesitate. It felt like a small rebellion we'd earned. Her neighborhood was your typical suburban stretch. Rows of nearly identical houses, trimmed hedges, barely any streetlights. Her room was on the second floor, facing a crooked wall of pine trees. That night was normal. Junk food, horror movies, cuddling under a fleece blanket. We fell asleep just past 1 a.m., the TV still buzzing quietly in the corner. I don't know what time it was when I woke up. The room looked the same, but the feeling wasn't. Something was wrong. Office. I sat up. Bonnie was still asleep beside me. The hum of the TV was gone. Everything was silent. Then I heard it. A door slamming somewhere downstairs. My chest tightened. Heavy footsteps, fast, uneven, charged up the stairs. I stood ready to move, to yell, to do something, but then I saw it. A strip of yellow light glowing from under the bedroom door. It didn't belong. It wasn't the hallway light. This light was too sharp, too yellow, like the buzzing glow of an old vending machine. I couldn't stop staring at it, and then the footsteps stopped. Right outside the door, a woman's voice began speaking on the other side. Calm, almost conversational. But the things she said, she knew things, private things. She brought up the time I broke my friend Milo's wrist in 5th grade and lied about it. She talked about the panic attacks I used to have in high school, the ones I told no one about. Then more voices joined hers, male, female, layered over each other, growing louder and louder, shouting every memory I wished I could erase. I couldn't take it. I rushed to the door and yanked it open. Everything went black, not dim, not shadowed. Black. Like someone ripped the world away. The freezing air hit me like a punch. My ears rang. My lungs locked up. I was choking on something I couldn't see. And just before I passed out, I woke up. This time I was lying down. Bonnie was still next to me, breathing steady. The blankets were tangled and the TV was off. My heart was hammering so hard I thought it might crack a rib. I sat up, wiping sweat from my neck, trying to calm down. Just a dream, a false awakening. I'd read about them before. Dreams where you think you've woken up, but you're still stuck inside. That's what this was, just a dream. But then, the strip of light was still there. Same yellow glow, same perfect outline under the door. And then I heard it. Real footsteps downstairs. Slow this time, cautious. Someone was in the house. I didn't move at first. I just stared at the light, my body frozen in place. I reached for my phone without taking my eyes off the door. I slid my hand under the blankets and gently nudged Bonnie. Her eyes opened halfway. I whispered, "Don't talk." Someone's downstairs. She nodded, instantly awake. We sat there listening, barely breathing. The footsteps were getting closer. We stayed perfectly still, crouched behind the bed like kids hiding from a monster. But this wasn't a dream. This time the footsteps weren't rushing. They were slow, calculated, moving across the hardwood downstairs. Whoever it was, they weren't guessing their way around. They knew the layout. I had 911 on my phone, thumb hovering over the call button. I didn't even remember unlocking the screen. I whispered into it, barely audible, and told the dispatcher what was happening. My voice was so low I had to repeat everything twice. I remember her saying, "Stay quiet, officers are on their way." Then she asked if I could see a weapon. I told her I wasn't about to open that door to find out. Bonnie squeezed my arm so tight my fingers went numb. We sat in total silence, watching the light under the door. The same yellow light from my dream, still glowing like a warning. It didn't flicker. It didn't move. Just stayed there, waiting. The footsteps reached the stairs. Then they stopped again. No sounds for what felt like 5 full minutes. Just the blood pounding in my ears. Then we heard it, the faintest creak of the top step. Someone was coming up. One slow step at a time. My body started shaking, not just from fear, but from the realization that this moment, the exact pacing, the feeling, the glow under the door, was happening exactly like it had in the dream. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run, but all I could do was wait. And then, sirens. Red and blue light flashed through the trees outside Bonnie's window, washing the walls in streaks of color. Doors slammed downstairs. A loud voice yelled, "Police!" Step away from the door and put your hands where we can see them. A few seconds later, more shouting, a crash, then silence. I didn't realize I was crying until Bonnie wiped my cheek. We sat there listening to voices echo through the house, heavy boots moving fast. After a while, someone knocked, hard, and identified themselves as police. We opened the door. The yellow light was gone. The officers told us to stay upstairs while they cleared the scene. 20 minutes later, 2 men in ski masks were let out in cuffs. One of them had a crowbar tucked into his hoodie. The other had a black duffel bag filled with kitchen knives and a roll of duct tape. They didn't say much at first, but later we found out they'd picked the house after seeing Bonnie's Facebook post about her parents being out of town. They'd been watching the place since the day before, just waiting for the right moment. Bonnie's parents rushed home that morning, drove through the night. Her mom kept apologizing through tears. Her dad just kept pacing the living room, shaking his head, staring out the window like he was watching for someone. Everyone kept saying how lucky we were, how things could have gone so much worse. But I couldn't stop thinking about that dream, about how it predicted everything. The light, the footsteps, the exact timing. Even the voices behind the door, screaming all the things I never said out loud. That part still messes me up. I never told Bonnie about the details. I didn't want her thinking I was losing it. But I see that strip of light every time I close my eyes. That same shape, that same yellow. It's burned into my memory like a scar. Sometimes I even think it was more than a dream, like something was warning me or mocking me. I don't know. But here's the part I still can't explain. A few weeks after everything, I went back to Bonnie's house during the day. Her parents had changed the locks, added cameras, even got a dog. I walked upstairs alone and stood in her doorway just looking around. Everything looked normal, safe. But as I turned to leave, I noticed something strange. At the bottom of the bedroom door, where the light had been, there was a faint yellow stain in the carpet. No matter how much her mom tried scrubbing it, it never came out. I touched it. It was cold, still is.